Do you want to have gorgeous, flawless skin like this? I'm kind of joking, but not really. In this video today, it's going to be a bit different than what I typically post, but I just felt like this would be kind of something fun to record, and I hope that you might enjoy it. I'm going to take you through today my entire kind of beauty regime of what I do here in Bali, because to be honest, it took me a while of living here to figure out what my skin needed. I think within the first couple years of living here, I really hadn't found a skincare regime that was tailored to this climate, the humidity, and all of that stuff. And so I was dealing with breakouts, and I made a previous video about something that happened to me that then required having like aesthetic procedures to fix my skin. It was totally crazy. So I feel like after nearly 4 years of living here, I have a really good routine down, and I kind of want to share with you some of my secrets, though not really secrets, but just things that I have found that really work well for my skin living in the tropics. So I'm going to take you through a whole day of skincare, starting from my morning routine, which it is right now. It's about noon. I mean, not really still morning, but it's morning for me because I do things very, very slowly. So, all right, first things first is washing my face. So I'm going to turn the camera a bit and just kind of take you through the whole step-by-step process. All right, for the face wash, which I do twice a day, I use just a really gentle face wash, either Cerave, Cetaphyl, or this one, Derma 365, which is from Australia, or at least it's made in Australia, and it is like just the Australian cheaper version of Cetaphyl. I buy this at the Guardian Pharmacy, and yeah, my skin is quite sensitive, so anything that is like a fancy cleanser is gonna usually cause more harm than good for me. So a lot of things that I do are tailored towards sensitive skin. So this is my very first step of the day. I mean, after brushing my teeth and stuff, I wash my face. Today I'm also going to do something that I don't typically do every day, but I'm having a laser hair removal appointment later for my beard, which I've already done like 30 times. And I don't really have much hair left, but there's still just like little sprouts. I mean, these beard hairs, they seem to never really die. They always come back like zombies. So when you get laser hair removal, you have to be shaved for the laser to work. So I mean, I've had this shaving cream I think for almost 2 years because I barely need to use it anymore. I'm looking for my razor blade. I should have bought a fresh razor yesterday when I was at the pharmacy because I don't think that I have one, and you know, you definitely want a fresh blade to minimize irritation. But again, I have so few hairs left, and they tend to be so fine that I don't really get, you know, bumps or irritation anymore. It's just very, very fine hair that's left. But since I want to get rid of everything except for the mustache, because that is just my signature look these days, and it's not Freddie Mercury, so I don't want to see that in the comments. Alright, so I found a razor blade that actually I've been using mostly for my body, but it's okay. I'm just going to clean up the face where I'm having the laser hair treatment this afternoon. And I think that this is a good day to be filming this because after the laser hair removal, my face is rather red and irritated, so I can also take you through some of the additional special things that I do to deal with that irritation. Okay, so I'm just making sure that my face is nice and smooth like a baby's behind, with no hair. And we'll just also clean up the mustache just a little bit. Okay, see, it took like 2 seconds because there's no hair left. Well, a little bit, just some peach fuzz. Okay, so then I'm gonna rinse my face again, and now we can sit back down and continue on. Alright, so here we are again. I'm feeling like such a beauty influencer. I kind of love it. Alright, so after a clean face, I use Cetaphyl products for morning and night. So there's actually 2 different ones from this Brightening. I really do feel like a beauty influencer. From this Brightening line that they have, Brightening Day Cream and a Night Cream. And the only difference is that the day cream has some SPF and it has a slightly thicker consistency. So I've been using these products for a year because, you know, every once in a while I get bored and I'm like, oh, I need to try something fancy. And every time that I go with, you know, some expensive skincare brand, it always makes my skin worse because they just have way more ingredients and like crap that at least my skin doesn't need. And again, I have really sensitive skin, and I just feel like the less ingredients the better. But this one particularly, it has niacinamide, which is good for clearing up any hyperpigmentation or spots, and that's something that I do deal with quite, or at least had dealt with quite frequently, which is, you know, just like redness in my skin. And so yeah, I used to actually use a niacinamide serum, but I find that, you know, this has like a lower dose and it just works well for my skin, and it's something that, you know, has worked out really well for me. So after the moisturization, I use a cream called azelaic acid, and this is something that would usually be by doctor's prescription, like in most countries, but here in Indonesia, at least one good thing like is that medical stuff you can almost always get without a prescription, at least when it comes to skincare. So this I just buy at any pharmacy. As I said, it's azelaic acid, it's 20%, which is a much higher formulation that you would get like in just a commercial cream that you would buy. And I started using this after I had my, you know, major skin issue like about a year ago, where I was using a vitamin C serum and it caused these like breakouts. So azelaic acid is good for controlling acne, and more importantly, and why I use it again, is for hyperpigmentation, because my skin, I just don't know why, but I think that's the kind of skin that I have, is just prone to redness. So this helps control that, and I don't get acne anymore, and that's a big reason for that is also that I went on a round of Accutane, which was great for me. I took a really low dose of it over like several months to just kind of dry out my skin, because I have, or at least I used to have, quite oily skin, and that's a problem when you're living in the tropics, because the oil mixed with the pollution and the sweat was causing me to have either breakouts every once in a while, or just, you know, things that did not look very nice. So, you know, having now drier skin is a blessing for me here in the tropics. All right, so after the azelaic acid, which is something I use every single morning, I finish my face with La Roche-Posay, if I'm going to say it with the proper French accent, this SPF 50. Obviously, being here with the hot sun and being on a motorbike and all of that, you know, SPF is so important. I didn't start using SPF until I was probably like 27, and so I'm trying to now make up for sort of lost time, or, you know, not cause any further sun damage to my skin. But I'll talk about that in the evening time, because my evening routine is rather, you know, reversing of sun damage and stuff like that. So yeah, I use this again every single day, the SPF, and it's just important, like especially I think with my big nose, you know, sticking out, that used to get red all the time, and so not so much anymore with the SPF 50. And I really like this because it just gives a kind of glow, nice natural glow to the skin. Now, I'm not so good about this all the time, but for example, if I'm going to go for a long drive on the motorbike, then I also use this SPF lotion on my hands, because you can imagine holding the handlebars of the motorbike, they get a lot of sun. And this is from Sensatia, which is actually a made in Bali brand. I quite like their stuff. I mean, some of it, like I was just there yesterday buying some things, so I'll put this on my hands. And I think that this contains zinc. Let me see. Yeah, this contains zinc oxide, so it's like a physical barrier for the skin, and it does leave a white cast, which is why I only use it on my hands and not my face. But this is called Surf Naked, so it's kind of formulated for people who are, you know, surfing out in the sun. And yeah, I find that it's just important, because your hands can show your age just like your face. You know, like those old ladies who may have had a ton of plastic surgery, so they're like tight in the face, but then you look at their hands and they're all wrinkly and have sunspots. I don't want that to be me one day. So, okay, let me think. I think that's pretty much it of my routine, except of course I also need some deodorant in the morning. And today I'm going to be going to the gym, like right after I finish doing this video. And even though it's the gym, I still like to wear, you know, some cologne. So this is something that I bought in Bali called Selva do Brasil from Verdu. I don't know, whatever. I kind of got bored of it, which is why when I was in Madrid, I bought Le Labo Vetiver. But this one that I just put on, I like more for the daytime because it just feels a bit more fresh, and the other is more evening time. Let me think. I think that's pretty much it for my morning routine. At least that's the stuff that I do on the regular. So we're going to reconvene after I come back from the gym because there's a part 2, and then in the evening time there'll be a part 3. All right, well, I'm back from the gym. I just had lunch, and as it's a very leisurely day, as I have a rather leisurely life, I'm going to do a hair oil mask. This is something that I try to do like once a week, but actually it's probably more rare than that. If you've watched my Thailand vlog, you know that just over 2 months ago I had a revision hair transplant surgery, and it's actually starting to fill in quite nicely. So I just had more hair, like about 1,000 grafts into my hairline to, again, make it look more natural than what it was before. I'm not losing my hair, it's just that I wanted a smaller forehead and to lower my hairline. And I think that the reason that it's actually been growing in pretty quickly is because of all of the things that I have been doing to promote the hair growth, such as using minoxidil, microneedling in my hairline, and doing these oil masks as well. So now I'm going to do an oil mask with castor oil and coconut oil. Now castor oil is really good for promoting hair growth, so they say at least. It's very viscous, this liquid. It's kind of weird feeling, honestly. Some studies show that it really does promote hair growth. I think that it promotes blood flow to the scalp and to the hair follicles. So I put some drops in and then I just massage it in. And because it's really thick, I like to actually then go in with the coconut oil afterwards. And the coconut oil just makes my hair, at least temporarily, really soft. My hair type is rather coarse, and so no matter what I do, even if it's a intensive hydrating hair mask like this, once my hair dries after being washed, like it feels soft for maybe an hour, and then it just goes back to being coarse again. So that's why actually when my hair is longer, I do regular keratin treatments, which is great also in Bali because of the humidity. If you have naturally or hair that tends to frizz, then the keratin is really helpful in maintaining a smoother appearance. And also my hair is naturally rather wavy or curly, and I don't think I look that good that way. I prefer to have more straight hair. So that's why the keratin comes. But my hair is obviously really short because they shaved my head completely when I did the hair transplant 2 months ago. So this is 2 months of hair growth. I mean, 9 weeks to be exact. And I'm gonna let this sit on my head for about an hour, and then I'm going to take a shower and use a special clarifying shampoo that I just bought, which I'll show you. Condition my hair, and that will be my afternoon little at-home spa treatment. So again, when you do these hair masks, it's just really good to rub it into the scalp because it also helps promote blood flow, you know. So I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get tired, and then I'll come back when it's ready to go to the next step. All right, I'm freshly out of the bathtub and the shower. I took a 30-minute soak with some Epsom salt, and then I went into the shower to wash my hair. I want to show this new product that I bought that I just washed my hair with. It's from a brand called Davines, which is an Italian brand that I discovered here in Bali. First, I bought this hair mask on Tokopedia, and I really love it. It smells incredible, and it really does leave my hair feeling very soft, at least for a little bit. And then I decided to buy this, which is called Purifying shampoo, because after oiling my hair, I do think that it's important to get like all of that out. And moreover, with the minoxidil that I've been using on my hairline, sometimes it gets a bit dandruffy. And so this is specifically formulated for scalps with oily or dry dandruff. So that was exactly what was going on now with both oil in my hair and wanting to just clean off those dead skin cells and all that buildup. So since I've gotten my face wet, like I didn't properly wash my face again because I don't want to wash my face too many times in the day. So once I shower, rather than wash my face for like a second and then a third time at night, I use witch hazel from Thayers. This is a brand I've been using forever, like since I lived in the United States, and you can get it here on Tokopedia. and it's the Witch Hazel Aloe Vera Formula Rose Petal. So it's a toner, and I'll just tone my face with a cotton pad. So I go over my face, and this just kind of makes it feel more clean. And then, after that's done, I use Cerave Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Serum. So this is really light on the skin. It smells really bad. It just has a very like chemical smell, but it doesn't matter because, I mean, we already moisturized this morning, and I just want to keep the skin, you know, fresh, clean, and moisturized. So I use this generally in the afternoon. And I'm actually headed out right now to go for my laser hair removal appointment, at which point they're going to clean my face anyway, actually with an alcohol swab before zapping it with the laser. And then usually they will put on some calming gel afterwards. When I get back here, I'm going to use a new aloe vera gel that I just bought yesterday. I'll show it to you. From that same brand that I mentioned earlier called Sensatia, that's made here in Bali. So it's just aloe vera botanical gel. So pretty much pure aloe vera. No, actually not. It has aloe vera and then some other ingredients. But I mean, it's more or less to calm the skin. So sometimes what happens after the laser is like my skin is quite inflamed, and I don't want that to be the case. So everything that I do for the rest of the day will be to calm down my skin. All right, I'm headed out, and I will see you tonight. Well, as promised, I'm back, and it's almost my bedtime, being that I've been awake for about 12 hours. I know that my life is insane, but it is my life, and I'm taking you along for the ride. So I've just washed my face and brushed my teeth, and now I am getting on to my nightly ritual, which is something that I really enjoy. I kind of enjoy my whole beauty routine, to be honest, all the things that I do morning and evening. So as I mentioned, I'm using again Cetaphyl. This is the nighttime cream. It also has niacinamide in it, so again, good for hyperpigmentation, things like that. And I do notice that after I wash my face, even with the gentle cleanser, whether it's the Cerave, the Cetaphyl, or the Australian knockoff version that I'm using, my skin feels quite taut and dry after cleansing. So using a moisturizer is just a good thing after that. And also because the next step as well is kind of further drying. So once my face is slathered in that moisturizer, then I go on to really what I would credit my youthful looks, besides Botox, fillers, and everything else. For the last 20 years, I've been using prescription strength retinol cream, and I use the highest concentration that you can get. A thing that I love about Indonesia, as I mentioned, is that you can get all of these medicines basically over the counter, even though, again, like this even says harus dengan resep dokter, which means you need a doctor's prescription. You actually don't here. So you just walk into the pharmacy, and this costs for this little tube about $4 US, whereas if you were in the United States, not only would you actually need a doctor's prescription to get it, which means you'd need like health insurance and have to go visit a doctor, all this crap, but furthermore, without a prescription plan, it would cost a lot of money. So a lot of benefits to living in Indonesia when it comes to things like that. So I've been using this, as I said, for pretty much 20 years. Obviously I started because of acne, but the benefit, as most people are aware with retinols, is that it's really good for skin in general, with collagen promotion and new skin turnover and all of those things. So obviously, you know, well after I have not had to deal with acne anymore, I just never stopped using it. And I really think that it is a big reason as to why, at least I think, my skin looks quite youthful after all of these years, even as I get older and older. So I put that on my face every single night. I was actually going to say I probably shouldn't put it on like on my lower face where I just had the laser hair removal today, but my skin is so used to it after 20 years that it doesn't cause me any irritation at all. I know with some people and retinol, it, you know, makes their skin dry or irritated, but my skin is honestly so used to it that I can put it on and then even derma roll it into my skin and I have no problems whatsoever. So that is an essential for me. And the next step is, this is something that I discovered here in Indonesia on Tokopedia called Tamanu oil, and I don't remember how I found this. I don't remember if it was that I was like searching for oils and I found this one, or that I saw it on Tokopedia and then researched it, but regardless, Tamanu oil is a really good oil for hyperpigmentation and for fighting acne. It just has antimicrobial properties, it doesn't clog pores, and again, it can help even out skin tone and help skin tone turn over. So you need just a really tiny amount. I just usually use like 3 drops. I don't do this every night, but it also helps with skin irritation. And as I said, since I had my face lasered today, I think today is a pretty good day to put it on. So you do skin oils after the moisturizer, after the retin-A. I mean, I'm obviously not a dermatologist. I'm just sharing like my own routine and things that I have learned by trial and error along the way. As I said, like I really went through something quite traumatic about a year ago where I wanted to try something new. Like I felt, okay, you know, my skin is changing. I need to change up my routine. So I got this vitamin C serum, and I didn't realize that you're not supposed to use vitamin C and retinol. And so my skin was really like freaking out, getting breakouts like worse than I had had since I was maybe a teenager. And then that led me to like run to a dermatologist who injected me with cortisone shots, and that messed up my skin like quite badly, to the point that then I had to get laser resurfacing of my skin and all of this stuff. Like it was just honestly quite traumatic. So now I'm really at a good point with my skin where I feel like I have a routine down, and as I said, it took me a while to also just accept the fact that my skin doesn't want like a million fancy creams and things like that. It really is quite sensitive, so I don't just like mix in active ingredients anymore. Especially now that I feel like, as I said, since my skin is at a good point, I don't want to like throw in anything that's gonna mess things up anymore. So now next step, as I also have mentioned a few times, I had a revision hair transplant 9 weeks ago in Bangkok, and so it can take sometimes like 4 months to see the results, but I do think that when I like look very closely and I see some new hair sprouting, and I think that the reason for that is that I have been using topical minoxidil right in my hairline, and that does speed up the results. So I only put it in my hairline. I don't put it all throughout my scalp because I'm not losing my hair. I've been taking finasteride for I think about 9 years, and that's why I don't have any hair loss. I mean, maybe I wouldn't have even if I didn't take finasteride. I don't know, because I was rather proactive about not losing my hair. And yeah, I mean, I'm just really anxious and looking forward to my hairline being fully grown in. Like it actually, as of the last week, I feel like it does look more full, since as I said, like there's some small hairs that are cropping up, and I'm really happy with the result. Like I just want it to look natural. I didn't want to look like I had a hair transplant, and that was the problem after the first one, that I felt like there wasn't enough density in the hairline. And so with certain lighting, you know, I could see like the space between the hairs, and I just hate cosmetic work that looks fake, you know. I want to look as natural as possible. I don't want someone to look at me and think like, oh, that person has had a hair transplant, or that person has had 2 nose jobs, or that person has had, you know, all the other things that I've had done, which I won't get into because the list is too long for this video. I mean, it's actually not that long. I'll be being a little bit facetious. But anyway, so now what I'm going to do, which I'm not going to show on camera because it will take too long and it's not plugged in, but look at this, my Hannibal Lecter mask. So this is an LED mask. This is an LED mask that I bought on Tokopedia for I think about $20 US. And what's so amusing to me is that when I was in Spain, in Madrid, in some really cool, trendy, fancy store, they were selling the exact same mask, and I really mean the exact same one, for I think like 200 euros or something absurd. And Yeah, I mean, that's another good thing about living in a poor country like Indonesia. You tend to get like the same products that are just directly from China that aren't branded for way, way cheaper, because someone who's smart just sources those products from China, puts a brand name on it, maybe changes the packaging, and then sells it at a 10-time markup. So I'm going to use my Hannibal Lecter LED mask on the setting for red light, and red LED light can just help, again, like with cell turnover and cell activation. And again, that's good for the fact that my skin is a little bit irritated after being lasered today. I'm going to do that for 15 minutes. And then the last couple steps will be tonight I'm going to use my Laneige water sleeping mask. Laneige is a brand, again, that I discovered here in Indonesia on Tokopedia, and I really like their stuff. It smells amazing, that particular sleeping mask. It's super light. And you know, when it is a little bit like dewy when you put it on, but by the time I wake up, my skin just feels like so nice. And I'm using also the Laneige lip sleeping mask because my lips are really dry actually. And I also use Laneige's foundation for whenever I record a video, like when you guys typically see me just talking to the camera when I'm telling stories. Is actually the only time that I wear makeup, because I feel like I have good skin now and I don't like wearing makeup because I don't like having to then like wash my face after, and you know, when you wear makeup your skin just kind of feels like it's suffocating. So I only wear makeup for the camera and that's it. But Laneige, really great brand. I like their stuff and it's available here in Indonesia on Tokopedia. I'll link to the products which I have mentioned because pretty much all of them I've bought on Tokopedia. So if there's anything that piques your interest that you think that you might want to try out, including the Hannibal Lecter mask for $20, then you can find it in the section below where I will link to everything. So as I said, I'm now going to get into my bed, do my LED mask, put on the sleeping mask, the Laneige sleeping mask, and that's it. Then I'm going to go off to a peaceful, hopefully peaceful respite and rest until tomorrow morning when I will be woken up with coffee. Actually, I'm woken up by my dog crying because the housekeeper arrives and then he wants to be let out. And anyway, I'm rambling on as usual, but I actually really enjoy doing these kinds of videos. I just like talking to you. I like talking and sharing things from my life in a really just organic way that kind of feels like no pressure, you know? So thank you guys for watching, and until the next time, take care, and I'll see you later. Good night.